They say your home is your sanctuary, but when I bought my first house, a dream come true after years of saving, I never imagined my biggest nightmare would live just 2 doors down. Wear a visor at all hours of the day, and wield the power of a clipboard like a medieval weapon. Her name was Karen, and not just by stereotype, her actual name was Karen, president of the HOA, self-appointed ruler of the cul-de-sac. And this is the story of how she tried to take over my pool for her granddaughter's birthday, and how I turned the tides by literally draining the fun right out of it. It all started 3 months after I moved into the neighborhood. The house came with a pool, a beautiful in-ground pool with a stone waterfall and soft lighting for evenings. I had dreamed of having a backyard oasis ever since I was a kid, watching reruns of those home renovation shows with my mom. So when I finally got it, I took care of it like it was my child, cleaned it weekly, checked the pH balance, installed a new pump, and even landscaped around it with succulents and lavender. It wasn't just a pool, it was peace. And that peace ended the moment Karen rang my doorbell one Saturday morning, lips pursed like she'd been sucking lemons. "I see you've got a nice pool back there," she said, not even bothering with a hello. "We're planning a birthday party for my granddaughter. Big one. Bounce house, magician, the whole 9 yards. She'd love a pool party, so I'm going to need access to yours next weekend." I blinked. "Wait, you want to use my pool?" "Not want. Need," she said sharply, already writing something on her clipboard. "HOA guidelines allow for neighborly cooperation. We all do our part around here." I laughed, thinking it was a joke. It wasn't. She stared at me like I was the one being rude. "With all due respect," I replied, trying to keep my voice calm, "I'm not comfortable opening up my property like that. Liability issues, you know?" Her expression changed instantly. The clipboard came down. The smile tightened. "That's disappointing," she said. "You're new here. Maybe you don't understand how things work." I politely closed the door. That week, the notices began. First, a citation for improper lawn edging, then one for unauthorized garden decor, then a threatening letter about the pool being visible from the road, which wasn't true. I was being harassed. I approached other neighbors, people who'd lived there longer, and they all said the same thing. "Karen runs this neighborhood." Her husband was on the HOA board too. Everyone just complied to avoid her wrath. But I wasn't wired like that. I've dealt with bullies before, and I don't back down when something's wrong. I wrote polite emails, asked for clarification on violations, and even trimmed my lawn to the exact HOA specification, just to take away her ammo. But then, one week before her granddaughter's party, she cornered me again, this time in front of 2 other board members. "You'll be allowing the party, or we'll have no choice but to escalate things," she said, arms crossed. I looked her dead in the eye and said, "You don't own me. You don't own my property," she scoffed. "We'll see about that." That night, I made a decision. I went to the backyard, flipped on the pool pump to waste, and began draining the water. It took hours, but by sunrise, the sparkling blue had turned into an empty concrete basin. The morning of the party arrived, and around 9 a.m., I heard screaming across the fence. Karen was at my gate, flanked by a dozen balloons and a clown, shouting at me. "What did you do?" she bellowed. "I drained it," I said calmly, sipping coffee. "I figured if the pool was such a problem, might as well take it out of the equation." "You can't do that," she shrieked. "This is sabotage. I already told the parents." "Well," I interrupted, "you should have told them the pool didn't belong to you." She stormed off. An hour later, the police arrived. 2 officers knocked on my door. I welcomed them in, showed them the drained pool, and explained everything. How she demanded use of my private property, the harassment, the phony citations. One officer nodded slowly and said, "She really called us because you wouldn't let her borrow your pool?" I nodded. They left 15 minutes later, without filing a report. And just like that, Karen's party was a total disaster. The kids sat in soggy bounce houses, parents murmured in confusion, and the clown looked like he was questioning his career choices. But the best part, the other neighbors started speaking up. One by one, they shared their own Karen stories. We started gathering peacefully at the community center, and 2 months later, during the annual HOA election, we voted her and her husband out. I didn't run for president. I just wanted peace. But I did help rewrite the neighborhood guidelines to include clauses about personal property rights and anti-harassment protections. And eventually I refilled the pool, this time inviting over my new friends from the block. We grilled burgers, played music, and watched the sunset reflect off the water. That day, I realized something. Standing up to people like Karen isn't just about saying no, it's about showing others they can say no too. And sometimes, you don't need to shout, argue, or fight. Sometimes all it takes is draining the pool.